before I met my wife, I wanted to have 2 daughters. That was my dream as a father. I wanted to have 2 daughters. And I have this dream that I will be sitting and I will have them in my lap and I will be reading books to them. And I will be sharing stories and having these 2 beautiful princes with me my whole life. And you know, I even prayed to God, God, please give me 2 daughters. And He was so good to me. He gave me 2 daughters. You know, and I thought everything will be so nice and so wonderful. But I think a couple of days before my first daughter was born, I did something wrong that really destroyed the whole dream. You see, my wife was 9 months pregnant, and the doctor told us in our last appointment, you are going to have your daughter on January the 1st. And my wife was so excited. And the doctor said, you can't even be the father of the first baby of the year. And I was so depressed. My wife was so happy that I took my wife to Old San Juan. It's a Spanish area, colonial area of our country. And I asked her, could you want to go to a romantic drive in a carriage with 2 horses? And you know, in Old San Juan, they have all these colonial buildings and have this stone brick roads. It's just beautiful. And as we get in the carriage, you know, we were moving around the city. After that, I went to my mom's house, and my mom, who knew me so well, she asked, what did you do tonight? And my wife said, oh, your son is so romantic. He took me to Old San Juan for this carriage ride. And my mom looked at her and told her, he wants the tax deduction. He looked at me and said, you want the tax deduction, right? I said, yes, Mom, I want the tax deduction. And praise God, December 28th, praise God, my daughter came to this world. And from that day, I was expecting this beautiful princess, sweet, tender girl. But something changed. I think it was the ride with the horses. Because when she was like 2 years old, she used to wake me up in a very unique way early in the morning. She used to step in the border of the bed and just jump over me. Just like crazy. And I know sometimes in my bed, I can look like a waterbed, but that was not the point. The point is, when you are sleeping, you don't want anybody jumping over you. Then my second daughter was born, and you know, sometimes we try to help God, and after 6 months, I went to the doctor for a vasectomy, because I only want 2 daughters. And when my second daughter was like 6 months, I went to the doctor on a Friday, and I said, this is the time, do it. And he did the vasectomy, and he told me, you need to put some ice and relax for only 3 days, and everything is going to be fine. Saturday morning, I was watching cartoons, and watching, you know, with my wife, getting ready for breakfast. And my oldest daughter was in the playroom. And my wife told me, could you please go to the playroom and call Kareli to come for breakfast? And you know, I was very agile, and I started to walk to the playroom, ready to call my daughter, and I stood at the door. And I said, Kareli, breakfast is ready. And she said, okay, excuse me, bang! And she used both hands to be sure the surgery was right. You know, when King David said, even when you walk through the valley of the shadow, I want to change just one word. Even when you crawl through the valley of the shadow of death. That recovery process took like 3 weeks instead of 3 days. Then the 2 of them were growing, and again, I think it was the carriage and Old San Juan, because I didn't have time to sit with them and tell them a story. They were jumping around like crazy all the time. You know, and I'm a pastor. I said, well, I need to find a spiritual solution for this. And after a while, I started to say, you know what, every evening, as your mom cleaned the dishes, we're going to sit in the living room and I'm going to share communion with my daughters. I think it's the more spiritual thing I can do with them. And every night, as my wife was cleaning the dishes at the kitchen, I sit down in the living room with my two daughters, and I give them communion. But once my wife found the bottle of NyQuil, it was a real problem. Because, don't judge me. You will do exactly the same if you were in my situation. The point now is that I'm in a different stage. I'm in the shark stage, where I have a bunch of sharks around my house now, looking for those two little princes. And I have two simple rules for them. Number one, whatever you do to them, I will do it to you. If you touch her, I will touch you. If you kiss her, I will kiss you. If you make her cry, I will make you cry. It's a very simple rule. And the second rule is that I'm not afraid to go back to jail. They don't know that, like Law and I used to have a ministry on jail. They don't need to know that. But the point is, even in spite of all the tragedy and all the challenges that I struggle with my daughters, you know, they taught me that I should be ready for unexpected things in life, because somebody's going to jump on you and you will never expect it. Number two, they taught me that there are pains in the world that you think you will never bear, but God will be there to hold you. You know, I remember when my daughter hit me with my vasectomy, my only thought was, Herod, you missed one. Because it was a painful day. You know, that's life. And the third thing that I learned from my daughters is that sometimes my plan is not his plan. He has a completely different plan for me. And because I thought I will train my daughters for something good, but the story ended they training me for life. That's why I can say, you can scare me. I have two daughters. Thank you.